This is the Fitzy and Whipper with Kate Ritchie podcast.
Hey, Richie, what's going on in your world?
Well, it's not my world because I am certainly not having a baby.
Okay.
No announcement here this morning, but you know what? When it does happen, you'll be the first to know.
Oh, thank you. There's a special bell that gets rung in the studio just in case Kate's having a baby.
Really?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
would
yeah.
prefer a gong
Okay.
or a glitter cannon.
Let's do a gong and a glitter.
Look, friends fall out for lots of different reasons, okay? And I think in the world of women, choosing baby names and people's approval of baby names and perhaps the theft of baby names.
Oh, this is why you have to keep it to yourself.
Exactly. I agree. I didn't tell anybody, or we didn't tell anybody about our chosen names, not even the family.
I disagree.
Was she
What?
conceived in May?
Different spelling.
I know it's different.
No, she's
spelling, yeah.
She's an August baby and different spelling, which
Right.
she's very quick to point out to everybody that gets it wrong. A bit like her mama when they leave a T out of Richie.
Mm-hmm.
So she's learning from the best.
Yep. And don't call her Katie.
No. So I agree. Keep it to yourself. We didn't even know the sex of the baby, so we had a few different options of both genders. This friendship group, and it's a local story actually, and how lovely when you have people in your friendship group who are giving birth for the first time around the same time. You know, you're going to your appointments at the same time. And
you know the
Beautiful.
kids are going to grow up together.
well, that's the plan, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can start the little Sunday schools or the day cares and things like that. Anyway, they go for breakfast about 3 weeks before the baby's born. They're chit-chatting about all things babies, and the conversation of names comes up.
Yeah.
And it's not a big it's not a huge conversation, but let's just call her Mary. She's at one end of the table and she overhears her friend Alison at the other end discussing names. Now, I don't know what the name is. Let's just say Angel.
Angel.
I love it.
Okay.
What, is that from Home and Away?
It is after
Who played
Melissa
that
George.
character?
Melissa
Yeah,
George, yeah, and she was a big fan in the 90s, and she
Okay.
wanted to call her baby Angel. Anyway, she overheard it, and this woman Mary, she said, in that moment, I realised that's the name. I need that name for my baby.
Yeah.
Didn't mention it. She goes into labour before her friend does
Dog act.
and names her baby Angel, sends out the obligatory photo with the, mum
the name.
and Bubba
Yeah,
doing
little
well,
name,
length, weight of the baby.
Yeah.
And little Angel is here, safe and well. Now, the friend who was still yet to give birth did not reply.
No, turned into Satan.
It's still never been discussed. It's very quiet on that front, but she just knows that she's stole the baby, and then she's tried to make herself feel better by thinking that her friend's gone on and used her second favourite name.
Can I jump in, Kate Ritchie?
You can.
It's
I'm
impossible.
surprised you waited that
I
long.
did, out of courtesy.
You usually just talk about it.
It's impossible to own a name. Nobody owns a name.
Oh, I think in
Now,
that scenario you do.
You just, and the other thing is too, you're so ignorant at the time and caught up in yourself that you need to remember.
What, pregnant women?
Yeah,
don't
pregnant
go
women
down
on a
this-
whole, Kate. No, but you've got to understand that those people, right, the likelihood of them all spending their life together is unlikely. They're friends, don't get me wrong, but then they'll go to different schools, possibly in different grades.
Well, they didn't
and they're
even sit
different
together
people.
at breakfast.
No.
They were at other ends of the
So
table. That's a sign.
You're just crazy to think that this side-by-side person who's stolen my name will ride along with me throughout life in this awkwardness of having our names clashing. Like, you don't own a name.
No, but I agree that you're going to go, maybe your paths will fork at some point.
Of course they will. A mate of mine, Eddie Glenn, he rang me and he said, mate, we're so excited. We've had a little boy. I'm going to call him Jack, and I know you love Jack, and you're going to have a Jack too one day. Awesome. Great, mate.
Yeah, but it's
I
a bit-
love
What a
that.
dog act. That is
No, it's
so
not.
Eddie Glenn.
Not one part
My
of me
gosh.
cared.
No.
And he told you to your face.
And not one part of him cared.
Oh, my.
Like,
I understand that, but in those very early days and weeks and months, like there are so
get over
many.
it. You
there are
can't own a name.
Can we go to Margaret in Penrith? What do you think? Is it okay to steal a baby name, Margaret?
No, it's never okay.
Margaret,
There's a
I
million
agree.
names in the world. and you can call a child any name.
Yes.
Yeah, but your
My
story's your story.
My sister-in-law stole my baby name.
Oh, I see. And what's the relationship with her like now, Mark?
Yeah, she's somewhere.
Yeah.
Oh, in the abyss.
She's
What,
somewhere,
6
somewhere
feet
in the
under?
world. What
We
was,
were born
what
4
wa-
weeks apart.
what was the name?
It was Kimberly.
Kimberly?
Now,
Yeah.
Yep, you've got to understand our children are now in our 30s.
Yeah.
So, but when she came to the hospital, she said, "Oh, so you had a girl?" We didn't know we were having a girl.
Yeah.
She didn't know she was having a girl. She said, "But didn't you have Kimberly picked out?" And as she's looking at her Kimberly, I said, "Yeah, but then we decided it was a bimbo name."
That's Mark. She's thrust that knife into your back, Margaret, right there.
Kimberly, I'm trying to think of bimbo Kimberleys that may have given you that idea.
I don't know, Kimberly.
No one has. No one has. I just said it because I was annoyed.
Yeah,
Yeah,
of course.
Mark.
I mean, boom, what a great response.
If my sister rang me and said, we're having a kid, we're thinking of calling it Francesca.
What?
Wouldn't want any.
Oh, that's
But she wouldn't, because that's a little bit too close for comfort.
I mean,
You
my
can't have cousins.
grandmother was Norma May, and then you went and named your daughter May.
Yeah,
And I'm like,
But look, I'm not.
Desperate.
I'm going to sound highly uneducated here, but aren't there names within other families, maybe European families, where like. Or the first son is always called the
Yes.
same name.
Yep.
So in other cultures, it's not that big a deal.
I got a mate Bernard. Or Bernard, however you want to
And he's
say
a
it.
No,
great tennis
no one's
player.
stealing that name.
He's
But he's
been
unfortunately 250th in the world at the moment, the
doesn't-
old Tomic.
He doesn't even like it, but he's the 7th one in a generation. All the men are called Bernard.
How awful.
How
Terrible.
hard for Bernard.
Sorry, Bernard.
Fitz in Whipper with Kate Ritchie is a Nova podcast. For more great shows like this, download the Nova Player via the App Store or Google Play.
The Nova Player.